the YouTube channel and podcast dedicated to helping you improve your English and achieve fluency. I'm Mike, your host, and I'm so glad to have you with us today. But of course, I'm not alone. Joining me is my fantastic co-host, Lisa. Lisa, say hi to everyone.
Hey everyone, I'm Lisa, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. We've got a great episode planned, and I can't wait to dive in.
Thanks, Lisa. Today's episode is all about creating a study plan for learning English. Whether you're a beginner or someone looking to improve your skills, having a clear and structured study plan is absolutely essential to making real progress.
That's right, Mike. Without a plan, learning English can feel overwhelming. There's so much to learn: vocabulary, grammar, speaking, writing, and more. But when you break it down into manageable pieces and have a plan to follow, things become much easier and more effective.
Exactly. A good study plan helps you stay focused, organized, and motivated throughout your learning journey. It's about making sure that every day you're moving closer to your language goals and that you're working on the areas that need the most attention. Exactly. A good study plan helps you stay focused, organized, and motivated throughout your learning journey. It's about making sure that every day you're moving closer to your language goals and that you're working on the areas that need the most attention.
So, whether you're struggling with speaking, trying to improve your grammar, or just getting started with learning English, we're going to walk you through the process of creating a study plan that fits your needs and keeps you on track.
By the end of this episode, you'll have all the tools you need to design your own study plan. So grab a pen, a notebook, or your favorite study app, and let's get started.
And remember, the best way to make progress is to stay consistent, so let's set you up for success today.
All right, let's dive in. Now, let's talk about why it's so important to have a study plan when learning English. Without a plan, it can feel like you're just drifting from one lesson to the next, not really making much progress. We've all been there, right? You open your textbook, listen to a podcast, watch a YouTube video, but at the end of the day, you're not sure if you're any closer to fluency.
Exactly, Mike. It's easy to get overwhelmed when there's so much to focus on: vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, reading, writing, speaking, and listening. It can feel like too much, and without a structured approach, it's easy to lose motivation and fall behind.
That's where a study plan comes in. It helps break down all these different elements into manageable chunks. By creating a clear roadmap, you'll know exactly what to study, when to study it, and how to track your progress along the way.
Right, Mike. A study plan also keeps you motivated. When you set small, achievable goals and check them off one by one, it gives you a sense of accomplishment. It's like hitting little milestones every day. And when you see that progress, you feel more motivated to keep going.
Exactly. And let's not forget how important it is to track progress. A study plan allows you to look back and see how much you've learned. It keeps you focused on the bigger picture while helping you stay on track with your daily or weekly goals.
Let me share a quick example. I had a student, Sarah, who came to me feeling really frustrated with her English learning. She was studying every day but didn't have a plan, so she didn't feel like she was improving. I helped her design a study plan where she focused on reading comprehension on Mondays, listening practice on Wednesdays, and grammar on Fridays. Just by sticking to that structure, she started seeing improvement in all areas. Within 2 months, she felt more confident and was able to have conversations with native speakers, which she hadn't been able to do before.
That's an amazing transformation, Lisa. It really shows how powerful a study plan can be. So without a plan, you might feel like you're not making progress. But when you create one, you'll have direction, motivation, and a clear way to measure your success.
And that's exactly why we're talking about it today. A plan can truly change the way you learn English. Now let's dive into how to actually create your study plan.
Now that we understand why a study plan is important, let's dive into the steps to create one. These steps will guide you through the process of organizing your study time and making your learning more effective. So let's get started with the first step. The first step in creating a study plan is to assess where you currently stand with your English. This helps you understand what areas you need to focus on. You don't have to take a formal test, but there are simple ways to evaluate yourself.
For example, try taking an online placement test, or even just reflect on how confident you feel in different skills, like speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Are you comfortable having a conversation in English, or do you struggle to form sentences? Can you understand English TV shows or movies, or do you need subtitles? These simple questions can give you a good idea of your strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. Being honest with yourself about where you are right now will allow you to create a plan that addresses your weakest areas first. You don't want to spend too much time on things you're already good at, right?
Once you've assessed your level, the next step is to set clear and measurable goals. This is crucial because goals give you direction and motivation. Make sure your goals are specific and realistic, so you can track your progress.
For example, a short-term goal might be learn 30 new vocabulary words this week, or finish one chapter of my grammar book this week. These are goals you can achieve in the short term, which keeps you motivated.
And for long-term goals, think about where you want to be in 3 months or 6 months. A long-term goal could be able to hold a 10-minute conversation with a native speaker, or watch a movie in English without subtitles and understand most of it. Long-term goals should challenge you, but still be achievable.
Remember, setting clear goals is essential because they will give you a sense of purpose and make it easier to see your progress. Next, it's time to break down your skills into manageable sections. English learning is made up of different components: reading, writing, speaking, listening, and grammar. You don't want to try and tackle everything at once, so it's important to focus on one thing at a time.
Exactly. For example, if your speaking skills need work, focus on improving your pronunciation, practicing basic conversations, or speaking with a language partner. If grammar is a challenge, dedicate time to learning sentence structures or verb tenses.
By breaking it down into smaller tasks, you'll avoid feeling overwhelmed. You'll also be able to track your progress in each area more effectively.
Now, let's move on to creating a weekly schedule. This step is all about consistency. You want to make time for your studies regularly, whether that's 30 minutes every day or a few hours a week.
For beginners, a good start might be to study for 30 minutes each day. You could split that time into smaller sections, like 10 minutes for listening, 10 minutes for vocabulary, and 10 minutes for grammar practice.
For intermediate learners, you might aim for 45 minutes to an hour of study each day. You can mix up the activities, like listening to a podcast in the morning, writing an essay in the afternoon, and practicing speaking with a friend in the evening.
Advanced learners should aim for about an hour of study each day, but the focus should shift towards more advanced tasks, like reading novels or academic articles, writing detailed essays, or participating in conversations with native speakers.
The key is consistency. Pick a routine that works for your schedule, but make sure you're committing to it every week.
Now that you've designed your schedule, let's talk about choosing the right tools and resources. There are so many options out there, so it's important to pick the ones that best fit your goals and level.
For listening practice, podcasts are great. You can listen to English podcasts like Chat Fluent or The English We Speak to improve your understanding of native speakers.
Apps like Duolingo, Babbel, or Memrise are great for vocabulary and grammar practice. They make learning fun and interactive.
And don't forget about books. Reading is such an important part of language learning, and there are tons of books written specifically for English learners. For writing, tools like Grammarly can help you improve your grammar and sentence structure.
Choosing the right resources will make a huge difference in your study plan, so pick tools that match your learning style, whether you prefer visual, auditory, or interactive methods.
Finally, it's essential to track your progress and adjust your plan as needed. A study plan isn't something you create once and forget about. It should be flexible.
Exactly. If you find that you're struggling with grammar, you might want to spend more time on that area, or if speaking is your strength, maybe you can reduce the amount of time spent on it.
And don't forget to reward yourself for milestones. If you've learned 100 new words or had a 30-minute conversation in English, celebrate that success. It'll keep you motivated to keep going.
The key here is to stay flexible. If something isn't working, change it. The most important thing is to stay consistent and keep moving forward. The key here is to stay flexible. If something isn't working, change it. The most important thing is to stay consistent and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. So now you have a step-by-step guide to creating a study plan. The next part of the podcast is going to be about avoiding common mistakes when learning English, so stay tuned for that.
Now, let's quickly talk about some common mistakes that learners often make when creating a study plan. Avoiding these pitfalls will help ensure that your plan is effective and sustainable.
One big mistake is overloading your schedule. It's easy to get excited and want to study all day, every day, but that can lead to burnout. When you try to do too much at once, you'll end up feeling overwhelmed, and that makes it harder to stay motivated.
Exactly. It's better to start with a manageable amount of study time each day and gradually increase it as you get used to the routine. Remember quality over quantity.
Another common issue is ignoring your weak areas. It's tempting to focus on what you're good at, but to make real progress, you need to spend time working on your weaknesses. Whether it's grammar, pronunciation, or listening, don't avoid the hard parts. Embrace them.
Absolutely. If you're struggling with something, that's exactly where you should focus your attention. Addressing your weak points will lead to faster and more noticeable improvements.
Finally, a lack of consistency is a huge problem. Even if you have the best study plan, if you don't stick to it, it won't work. Consistency is key to success, so make sure to study regularly, even if it's just for 20 or 30 minutes a day.
Consistency doesn't mean studying for hours every day. It's about making learning a daily habit, no matter how small the time commitment. That's what will really help you see progress.
To wrap up, avoid overloading your schedule, pay attention to your weak areas, and be consistent. These simple steps will keep your study plan on track and help you reach your English learning goals.
As we wrap up, let's talk about staying motivated. Because let's face it, learning a language can sometimes feel like a long journey, and motivation is key to staying on track.
One great way to keep your motivation high is by joining a study group or language community. Being around others who are learning English will keep you inspired and accountable. Plus, you can share resources, tips, and even practice speaking together.
That's a great point, Lisa. Another tip is to celebrate your small achievements. Every time you reach a goal, whether it's finishing a chapter, mastering a new tense, or having a successful conversation, take a moment to congratulate yourself.
Celebrating those wins, big or small, boosts your confidence and reminds you how far you've come. And remember, the journey is just as important as the destination.
Exactly. Stay positive, keep practicing, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you learn. We hope these tips help you stay motivated and on track with your study plan.
That's all for today's episode of the Chat Fluent Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.
All right. Let's quickly summarize what we've covered today. We've talked about how important it is to create a structured study plan for learning English. We went over steps like assessing your current level, setting clear goals, breaking down your skills, and designing a weekly schedule. We also discussed choosing the right resources and tracking your progress.
And don't forget about avoiding those common mistakes, like overloading your schedule or ignoring weak areas. Consistency is key, and we've shared some motivation tips to help you stay on track.
Now it's your turn. We'd love to hear how you plan to create your own study plan. Share your ideas in the comments below, and let us know what strategies have worked for you in your English learning journey.
Also, if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to subscribe to the Chat Fluent channel for more helpful tips and episodes on learning English and staying motivated. We've got plenty more content coming your way.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Chat Fluent Podcast.